Many of you might remember that on the 7th of June, I started a petition on change.org and released a video here on YouTube about the NHS data sharing scheme that would see NHS Digital sharing your patient data for paid access without, as I saw it, informed consent on your part. My petition sought to stop the share of this data without informed consent, which means if you, the patient, do not know what data is being shared and with whom, especially for paid access, then it shouldn't be shared. Within a matter of days, tens of thousands of you had signed my petition calling for this scheme to be stopped without informed consent, topping out at almost 250,000 signatures, all of which following 4 videos that I've released on this channel, amalgamating in almost 250,000 views. And for those of you that are not familiar with what I'm talking about, the NHS data sharing scheme would see that 10 years worth of your medical data would be shared with third parties on a paid access scheme, in addition to ongoing data that's collected, unless you opted out of the scheme, because the scheme was an opt-out, not an opt-in. In other words, your data will be included in the scheme unless you opt out. And this is what I created 1 or 2 videos about in the first weeks of June. But if you're not familiar with who I am a barrister who helps you understand law on YouTube. I have over 160 videos of guidance that you can follow, all for free. After the initial backlash, the rollout of the scheme was delayed from the 1st of July until the 1st of September, amid concerns over the security of data. But today I can announce to you that as quietly as the scheme was rolled out in the first place, it has now been decided that the whole scheme has been put on hold, thanks to campaigns such as mine and others like it, which have raised concern for the security of data, confidentiality, and the overall design of the scheme. Reportedly, government figures show that for May, just over 107,000 people had opted out of the scheme. And yet in June, following the release of my videos, 1.25 million further people opted out of this scheme, declaring that they did not like the fact that their data was going to be shared with third parties, whether or not it was pseudonymized, which is a little bit like anonymized but not entirely anonymized. What that means is that there is a small code which allows NHS Digital to still refer to the patient in cases where they need to. And of course, I am not the only one that has voiced concern over this scheme. There are many significant voices that have penned concerns and articles online, all of which can now say that the collaborative efforts have put this scheme on hold indefinitely, pending what NHS Digital calls a listening exercise before announcing a new date. Now, of course, you'll remember in many videos I did explain the benefits of medical data for medical research, but at the same time this is balanced against the rights of privacy and the rights to control how your personal and medical data is handled, stored, and indeed shared with third parties, and that you should have informed consent if any of your data is shared under any circumstances. So for those of you that really do not want your medical data shared with third parties without your informed consent, and perhaps if you signed the petition, today I can tell you that that petition and many others like it was successful in encouraging the government to put this scheme on hold, pending further thought. At this point, I would like to thank all of those that run the website change.org, which has made it possible to reach a wide audience of very many people. And I have no doubt that this campaign played a huge part in encouraging a great many of you to exercise an informed choice as to whether or not you want to opt out. Some of you said that you didn't mind your data being shared, but a great many of you left comments on my videos to say that you didn't know about the scheme, you were horrified that your data was going to be shared or sold access to without your informed consent, and you exercised your right to opt out, both a type 1 and a national data opt-out. So for now, I have updated the campaign to declare a victory because the data share has been put on hold indefinitely until further notice. And of course, please do subscribe to my channel for further updates and look for further updates from change.org, because I very much doubt that this is the very end of the discussion. But for now, you can consider it a victory because the scheme is on hold. So I would like to thank all of you for your input, whether you are in support of the scheme or not. And please do feel free to subscribe to my channel because I am a barrister who helps you understand law.